Hello everyone. So today let us look into another very important theory when it comes to chemical bonding is molecular orbital theory. Now in the previous video we talked in detail about what valence bond theory is. So according to valence bond theory, when we try to look at a chemical bond, it is basically formed as a result of overlap between half-filled atomic orbitals leading to pairing of electrons and therefore formation of bond. Now, why we needed a new theory, that is molecular orbital theory, is because many of the important understanding in relation to molecules wasn't able to be explained by valence bond theory. For example, we couldn't explain from valence bond theory how an excited state of molecule is possible. If you remember, when we talked about the hydrogen spectrum, we talked about the excitation of electron in the hydrogen atom. Okay. In the same way, there should be some mechanism by which the electrons in the molecules are also excited to higher energy state, and that is why they are able to show color. Now that particular thing about the excited various states, electronic states in molecules was not actually explained by valence bond theories. Another important thing here we need to note is that when we talk about the valence bond theory, here the bonding electrons are kind of localized between the two nuclei. Even when we talk about polyatomic molecules like methane, that is CH4, here also when we talk about each CH bond, the electrons are kind of localized between the each of the two atoms, that is carbon and hydrogen. So that particular concept of localized electrons was not very understandable, especially when we talk about the polyatomic molecules. So we needed another theory that could generalize these electrons in the molecules. So all these important properties that a particularly molecule shows is very difficult to understand just from the valence bond theory, and that led for the scientists to propose another understanding of the chemical bonding through a new set of theory, and this is currently the most widely accepted theory, and that is the molecular orbital theory. Though it is a complicated theory, you cannot always realize it for polyatomic molecules easily, but for most of the explanation that we use related to the bonding present in covalent molecules, we mainly use molecular orbital theory. Now, what is a molecular orbital theory is what we need to try to understand. So molecular orbital theory actually borrows some part of the valence bond theory. So valence bond theory talks about how the atomic orbitals, the valence atomic orbitals are involved in kind of bonding by formation of an overlap leading to pairing up of the electrons, leading to the formation of a chemical bond. Now molecular orbital theory actually tells that when these suppose we talk about a hypothetical diatomic molecules, a molecule AB. Okay, so here an atom A combines with an atom B to give the diatomic molecule AB. So molecular orbital theory says that basically what is happening is the atomic orbitals of the atom A is kind of combining with the atomic orbital of atom B to form now a new set of orbitals, which are now termed as the molecular orbitals. So MO stands for the molecular orbital. So Now, according to molecular orbital theory, now after the bond formation occurs or the molecule AB is formed, at that time, now no longer we have atomic orbital present, but rather they are all converted into new set of orbitals which are called as the molecular orbital. Now, if you are in the honors topic, when we talk about these molecular orbitals, in the same way as we discuss the quantum numbers for the atomic orbital, we will be talking about the quantum numbers of molecular orbitals. Since you are the complementary branch, we are not going into the quantum numbers of the molecular orbital, but we will be qualitatively looking at the how to write the molecular orbital electronic configuration. Now, before jumping into the other aspects, let me introduce to you some of the salient features of the molecular orbital theory, which are very, very important. One of the important things that you should remember of the molecular orbital theory is the fact that you can write electronic configuration in the same way as you wrote the electronic configuration for atomic orbitals. So in that same manner, you can write electronic configuration for molecules, okay, in the molecular orbitals. Okay, so that is a very important introduction done by the molecular orbital theory. Now here, what all rules that we followed in the filling up of the electrons in the atomic orbitals, same rule we will be using for filling up of electrons in the molecular orbitals. So basically, if you remember, we had studied about Aufbau principle, we have talked about Hund's rule of multiplicity, then we talked about Pauli exclusions principle. All those rules that we use to fill up the electrons in an atomic orbitals, those rules would be used also for filling up of electrons in the molecular orbital. Further, the number of molecular orbitals, if we talk about in a molecule, it would be same as the number of combining atomic orbitals. Suppose we have two atomic orbitals combining here, then it would lead to two set of molecular orbital in as a result being formed. Third aspect is, now we are considering these in molecular orbitals, the electrons are kind of shared between all the atoms of the polyatomic molecule. So from now onwards, we would be talking about the polycentric nature of the bonding electrons, because now bonding electrons won't be considered as localized between the nuclei of the two atoms, but rather they are kind of available to all the nuclei present in a polyatomic molecule. Now, this particular polycentric approach won't be that much visible when we talk about the diatomic molecule, but when we talk about polyatomic molecule, this concept of polycentricity is very, very visible and important. Now, like in order to understand the atomic orbitals, we talked about the wave functions in atomic orbitals. Like if you remember, we deduced the wave function in atomic orbital using Schrödinger wave equation. Okay, and if you remember, I told you the wave functions that we denoted for the atomic orbitals was represented by a letter psi. Okay, so same way you can also write wave functions for molecular orbital theory. Now for reasons of convenience, I believe same kind of notation we use for molecular orbital wave functions as well, which is psi. Okay, so this psi symbol is what is used here. Now again, the same way, psi square will represent the probability density, which is nothing but the probability of finding the electron in a given space. Okay, so all those things that we did for the atomic orbitals would be now applicable for the molecular orbital. Now an important problem comes into picture, and that is how to find out the wave function for a molecular orbital, because we know that a function for the atomic orbital is easier to determine on the basis of Schrodinger wave equation, but to determine the molecular orbital wave function, it is quite difficult. So here a mathematical approximation method is what is used, and that approximation method is called as the linear combination of atomic orbital, often acronymed as LCAO. What the meaning of this approximation is, you can easily understand from the name itself, that basically what we are here doing is the wave functions of the atomic orbitals, we are just linearly combining them. That meaning we are just adding them together. For example, if we talk about two atoms A and B, and if we know the wave functions of each of the atom A and atom B, then we linearly combine these wave function to deduce the molecular orbital wave function for a molecule AB. So that linear combination is mathematically usually written something like this. As you can see, it's a linear combination. So if suppose psi A and psi B are the wave functions for the atoms A and B, then we linearly add them together. Now here you have to remember, you just keep a note that we use certain constants like n and C1 and C2. Okay, so n is nothing but normalization constant, which is actually a mathematical normalization which is required to keep the value of probability of finding the electrons to unity. And these constants C1 and C2 are basically used in order to keep the energy of these molecular orbital wave functions to the minimum value. Okay, so that particular constants are introduced on the basis of the approximation that we used during the linear combination of the atomic orbitals. Now, if we do probability density determination, we have to do the square of the wave function. So when we do the square of the wave function, it could be considered as a algebraic expression. A plus b the whole square would be written as a square plus 2ab plus b square. So in that way we got these terms. Normalization constant I have not included because we are talking about the physical significance of chi square, so I did not include them. So here we have three terms available. Now the first term talks about the probability of finding the electrons on atom A. The third term talks about the probability of finding the electrons on atom B. Then the middle term is what is important when it talks about the bonding between atom A and B, which is nothing but termed as the overlap integral. So if this value actually decides the extent of bonding happening between atom A and atom B. Better the value, better would be the overlap happening. There could be a possibility of a positive overlap as well as a negative overlap. So negative overlap lead to anti-bonding orbital, and positive overlap lead to a bonding molecular orbital, which we'll be discussing in the next video. Now, important thing that I would like to bring to your attention here is when the two atoms are same, so if A and B are same, then these constant would be same value. So often we can take them as common outside, and you can talk about the linear combination of chi A plus chi B. Okay, so in the next video we will talk about the hydrogen molecule and how we can apply the linear combination of atomic orbital to understand the molecular orbitals in a hydrogen molecule. Thank you very much for your attention.